Hi guys. All right, so today is the 3rd for Thursday. So we did our morning movement, we did our read aloud, then we started our math lesson. We are multiplying using partial products, and these were the pages that we went over, the independent work. When students were done, they worked on eSpark, and then for small group, we continued we actually continued some things from the lesson, and we'll hopefully get to some of these problems that I wanted to go over more tomorrow. And because we're tomorrow we just have a quiz and we're reviewing, so we'll get to those, the ones that we've kind of not gotten to tomorrow after our quiz. So um, today we kind of put a lot of things together, and we made some connections with some things that we've been talking about, and just talked about how they relate. And so let's say we have 152 times 3. So the first thing when we're doing the distributed property, we want to take this larger factor, the 152, and we want to rewrite it, and everything that we're going to put in expanded form, so the 100 plus the 50 plus the 2, each of those things are going to be multiplied by 3. So 152 in expanded form is 100 plus 50 plus 2, and all of this we're multiplying it by 3. So we're going to take the 3, we're going to multiply it times 100, take the 3, multiply it by 50, take the 3, multiply it by 2. And when we write that out, what that looks like is in parentheses. The first one we did is 100 times 3, close the parentheses, plus my next value is 50 times 3, plus next value is 2 times 3. And this looks familiar because if we draw our box, let me move over a bit. Get rid of that. Let me move me over here. All right, so let me draw the box here. So let's see, let me see if I can fit it up here. All right, so we had 100 plus 50 plus 2, and we're multiplying all that by 3. So we're going to put our lines down where we have our plus sign. So when I'm in this box here, I'm doing 100 times 3, so that's 300. And same thing right here, I'm doing 100 times 3, which is 300, plus my next box is the 50 times 3, which is 150. Same thing right here, 150, plus in this last box, 2 times 3 is 6. Same thing here, I'm multiplying 2 times 3, which is 6. So you don't have to do both of these each time you're multiplying. You just need to pick one, but we're learning different ways, and we're learning different ways that we can represent and solve this problem. And so either way we do it, we get the same answer at the end, which is what's important. And so, but it's good to know the different ways. Sometimes the kids will be like this right here will be the answer. And so sometimes they don't always have to take it all the way to get that final product. Sometimes they just want what it looks like in the distributed property. So sometimes that's the answer. But again, you don't have to do both. We were just showing both to show the connection between the two. But anyway, so you take these, what you've gotten, the 300 plus the 150 plus the 6. Same thing, these partial products right here. It's called a partial product because it's part of the product. And then we add them. So 300, 150, 6. Make sure you line those up, add them up. And there's your answer to 152 times 3. And so same thing with this way with the distributed property. I would add 300 plus 150 plus 6, and I would get still the 456. So either way. So then the last thing we did is we showed the other day when we were estimating products to see if our answers were reasonable. So this rounds, the 152 rounds to 200, to the nearest hundred. And when we multiply that by 3, 3 times 2 is 6, which is, add the two zeros, you get 600. So 600 and 456 are pretty close to each other. And so we know our answer is reasonable. So we did some practice with those. We did a couple of those in our notebook today from some problems that we saw in the book. And then let me get out of here. The independent ones that they did were on 246, and they added that to classwork this Monday math Monday through Friday. They added it to that, and that was technically the last page. There is a Friday page on there, but it's just showing this quiz that we're going to take tomorrow, and so they don't need to, they can go ahead and turn this assignment in. We completed that today. So as soon as they're done with that, go ahead and turn that in. And then for reading, we went to Seesaw and we went to our whole group lesson. And we are at the end here. So on this page right here, it has all the words that we've been going over. So simile, metaphor, personification, idiom, automatopoeia, symbolism, alliteration, hyperbole, and repetition. So those were the vocabulary words that we reviewed this week. And I told them they don't need to do this in the seesaw, but I wanted them to do this in the notes. And so they can use this, if they have those notes, they can use this on their test tomorrow. So all of the words, they're just doing the definition and an example. So all of that comes from the pages that we've been reviewing. So they can write that down in their notebook and then use that tomorrow when we take our poetry test. So the one that we read today is called The Chair. And it says, it's just a big old chair taking up attic space, Dad says. We could sell it at the garage sale, Mom says. The dump, Dad says. No, I say, I want that chair. The chair is not even a little bit pretty. Its oak feet, like lion paws, have been dulled and scratched by time and our cat. But I remember sitting on the floor close to the chair, and whoever was in it, I would rub my hand over the bumpy ridges of the feet, back and forth, until the cool wood warmed under my touch, and I would listen to the sounds of family. It's just an old chair, Mom says. I know, I say, looking at the worn upholstery. Its deep red roses have faded to a sickly purple. The seat cushion is ripped. Its once plush stuffing has worked itself out. It coughs up a throatful of dust each time I take a seat. But I remember its softness as clearly as I remember climbing into my mother's lap when she sat in that old chair. Why would you want this ugly old thing? Dad asked. Why wouldn't you want a pretty new chair? Mom asked. Yes, something soft and new, Dad says. No, I say, I want that chair. So we talked about whenever you see this little asterisk right here, you look down, and it's the author has put that, they put that because people might, when they read this, they might be like, what does the word upholstery mean? So you look down here and it tells you upholstery is a cloth covering, so it's the covering that goes over the chair. So we talked about what the poem is about. We talked about who's the one speaking and telling this story about what happened with this chair. And we talked about how I kind of made a connection, and some others agreed. It kind of reminded us of that show, The Hoarders, where people, they have these memories to different things and they don't want to let go of different things because they just have these really strong memories tied to certain objects. So it's like, oh, I wear this sweatshirt, it makes me think of my grandma who, gave it to me. Maybe she passed away, so every time I wear this, I'm reminded of her. And so, you can't give it away because then they're afraid of losing that memory and things like that. So same thing with this girl or boy who's talking about this, this ugly old ratty chair. Um, she or he has memories about it, and that's why they're wanting to keep this one. So students did questions 1 through 4. This is for a grade, and then we got out of that. So once they finished that, they turned that in, and then they have their poetry activities. They have their Hansel and Gretel story that they need to record. Again, they're recording on each page. And then we finished up our reading small group activity, our closed read that we've been doing this week on the 3D printing AIDS animals. So we finished talking about that today. And then in writing, let me go down. All right, writing. Oh, nope, let me open mine. Let me see if this is the right one. For some reason, I have 2. Nope. All right. Here we go. All right, so on page page 14. All right, so on page 14, we brought together, we did our introduction, we did our body paragraphs. Let me move me over here. So we did the introduction, we did the body, and today we pieced them together. So students have kind of gotten in the habit because we've done a few where it's like, write about your favorite gift, explain why it's your favorite. And so they've gotten in the habit of just getting used to saying why something is their favorite, why they like fourth grade, or why this person is someone they'd want to meet, or they've kind of just all been similar things like that. But on this one, it was a little bit different. And so it needs to be approached differently because it's very specific about what it asks you to do. And so some students were just not really paying attention to that. And we've talked just a number of times about the importance of this part right here. Whoop, I want my highlighter. Hold on. Get rid of that. All right, highlighter. All right, so this part right here where it's got the right part, this is the most important thing on your prompt page. So this right here tells you exactly what to write, and it's very specific. For example, it says write about your favorite gift. It doesn't say gifts, so you're only writing about one thing. And then it's a gift that you've received from someone. So students did pretty good on that part because that was pretty similar to things that we've done in the past. So for my introduction, I put, what is your favorite gift? My favorite is my PS4 that I got last Christmas. Let me tell you why. And so I've told what my favorite gift is. And then the second part is where it got a little tricky and where I lost some people and we had to go back over it. So right here it says, explain what the gift is, and then it has a second part where it says, and why it is so special to you. So they don't want to know just why this is your favorite gift and all the reasons it's your favorite gift. It's very specific. Explain what the gift is So you have to tell, like if I'm talking about the PS4, I have to explain what the PS4 is, what that gift is. Then I have to say why it's so special to me. So over here for the body, this whole part right here, from here all the way down is the body. This part right here is my introduction. And so I said, first, the PS4 is a gaming system that has hundreds of games you can play. On the PS4, you can also make friends and chat with them about the game. The system allows you to use other apps like Netflix, Disney Plus, and Spotify. My PS4 is special to me. So here, this whole part right here, from here all the way up, this is me telling what the game or what that gift is. Now, this part down here is me saying why it's special to me. So, my PS4 is special to me for several reasons. It allows me to play games, watch movies, and listen to music. And I really like that I can do so many different things with just the one device. It's also a way that brings my family together. Every Friday, my family pops a bunch of popcorn using our secret yummy family recipe, and we all get together and spend our Friday night watching the new episode of Mandalorian. It's a special time that I look forward to each week. So that's me doing this second part where I'm talking about why it's so special to me. Okay, so two parts, make sure they're both addressed. You can't just go do your own, like, it's not a freestyle writing. It's very, very specific. So you want to make sure that you address it. So this next page here on page 15 is just, I blew it up a little bit bigger where it's got the checklist. So you just want to make sure that your central idea is clearly stated, that you've told the reader what that gift is, your favorite gift that you've received. You want to organize your writing, meaning you have a beginning, you have a middle, you have an end. We haven't gotten to the end yet, but we should have that beginning part. We should have that middle part. We want to develop our ideas and details. So I gave the analogy of, like, when you say something, pretend like you're digging a hole. And you want to, when you say something, it's like you dug the hole. You don't want to go dig and start doing a whole nother hole. You want to make that hole deeper. So you want to say something and then you want to expand on it, and you really want your reader to understand. So for example, one student was talking about her dog, and she was saying that they have fun together. Well, as the reader, I'm like, okay, well, have fun doing what? She didn't really tell me. She just went on to the next idea. So we stopped and we said, okay, let's explain to the reader what you mean by have fun. So she said, her and her dog have fun by playing tug of war. And I said, okay, keep going. Tell me more. So then she went a step further and she talked about how he's so cute when his face gets mad, because he's like, and he's taking it all serious, but he's really just, they're just playing, but he's taking it all serious, being acting like he's mad and everything. So she kept taking it further, and the more she took it further, the more I understood what she said. Okay, so you don't want to just keep going on and on and on and on and on, you know, but you want to give enough information to where your reader has a good idea of what it is that you mean. All right. So these other pages say Thursday, but we didn't get to them today, so we'll try to get to those tomorrow. And then so we stopped. We were working hard on this body part. So and we did a lot of this that I just read together. Um, we got a lot of input from each other, um, or from the class. And then later in intervention, I started, just like we did with the introductions, where I had people share. We we started looking at the body, and students were sharing those, and so we reviewed a lot, and I was very happy. We are definitely showing a lot of growth in writing, so all of our practice is definitely paying off. So let me draft this. And then, all right, so that was writing. So in science today, we drew a picture of let me see, do I still have, yep, let me move me over here now. All right, let me erase this. All right, so let me get a better. All right, so we in our notebook we took some notes. So we started with the sun, and we said the sun is it's the powerhouse of the water cycle. Without the sun, we don't have a water cycle. So the sun is heating the water. So here, let's say we've got the ocean. The sun is heating the water, and right now the water is liquid. Let's say it's in the ocean. Oh, this doesn't. There we go. Liquid. Um, it's in the ocean. It's liquid water. The sun's heat changes that liquid to a gas. We call the gas water vapor. And you can't see it, but we draw in diagrams, we draw little arrows pointing upward, showing that that gas rises. And as it rises, it hits it starts getting cooler and cooler, and it starts to condense. And this is where you have your clouds form, and that process is called condensation. And when that water vapor becomes, um, you're turning that gas back into a liquid, and whenever that gets too heavy, it falls as precipitation. And precipitation precipitation can fall in several forms. So if it's warm, it's going to fall as rain. If it's cold, it might fall as sleet, hail, or snow. So there's different types of precipitation. And then the last one is runoff. So let's say you've got your land over here, and water hits the land. Runoff is literally what it what its name says. It's water running off of land and going into back into a water source. So it could be going back into the ocean, it could be going into a river, it could be going into a lake, but it's running off the land. And this isn't always a good thing, because as the water is moving across land, we have different pollutants and things that the water can pick up. And so on the land, we have different fertilizers and different things that we use to treat crops and our yards and things like that. So the water picks that up as it runs off of the land, and then that can be bad for things living in the water and for our quality of our water and everything. So it's not always a good thing. Um, but the water cycle, so everything that's happening, this is a continuous cycle. It keeps going. So the water that we have, this water has been around for billions of years. The dinosaurs used it, we used it. It just keeps going. So this process is continuous. So that's why they call it a cycle. And so we took notes in that in our notebook, and then we made our little diagrams with our baggies for the window today. So we took a sandwich baggie, and I sent some photos of what we did on Seesaw, so you can see on there. But we taped those up to the window, and it's going to take a while. Um, your bag should be sealed, so there shouldn't be. I've had a couple of students tell me that their water is not as much anymore. They think that the water is going to go away. That's not what's going to happen. Your water will stay, because remember, the water vapor, when it evaporates and turns into a gas, it doesn't have any way of escaping the bag. So it can't leave the bag. So everything that's happening is going to stay in that bag. So your water level will not change, because even if it evaporates, it's going to condense, and you'll see the condensation, and then it'll fall back down when it gets too heavy, and it'll just it's that cycle that keeps going. So the amount of water in the bag will stay constant, but what you're looking for is that condensation, like we did yesterday um, with our other investigation. So we did the bag, we did that, and then students used their notes that we took and they went here to this one right here in Google Classroom. It says water cycle, use your notes. And so they completed that. And okay, what I forgot some things on here. So distributed property, this can be done for math, idioms. This was something that went with our reading lesson that students can do, or that they students need to do. Everything in here students need to do. The only thing that it's in here that's new is the multiplication that's going to be for tomorrow. And then the social studies will finish tomorrow, but everything else can be done and turned in. We're done with the math. I just said the water cycle. Commas in a series. We did this the other day in writing when we were talking about commas. And idioms go with our poetry lesson and then the math. So all of that can be done. So, or needs to be done. And so all of this is due tomorrow. So we'll finish up those last couple things. And then students had, after science, they had library. So we didn't have a social studies lesson today. And then, like I said, for the intervention, we just went over those body paragraphs of our writing. So if I didn't get to them today, we'll try to continue tomorrow, and we'll probably have to go into Monday as well. But I really want them to make sure that they have that ready to go. I called on some students and they didn't have theirs done. And so I wasn't able to look at their work and had to kind of move them to the bottom. So make sure that you did that. We've had 2 days now to work on that, so it should be complete. And I had some students who were trying to do their own thing and really didn't look at that prompt page. So make sure that prompt page is looked at and make sure you're hitting both of those 2 points, what it is and why it's special. And let me check Seesaw just to make sure I got everything. All right, tomorrow we have reading test. All of this will be turned in and due tomorrow. All right, that's it. All right, thanks, guys. Let me know if you have any questions.